Grace is what the suffering is made of. It opens the shutter, it also closes it. There was a stretch where the day was still running its account in my head. And then I sent a text with an Australian joke. Then blackness. Well, not blackness, but nothingness. Just absolute nothing. Then morning. Usually Milo would come over to my bedside and rub his face under my dangling hand. Then I'd remember where I am. Somewhere in the gap between the falling asleep and the waking up, the one doing the worrying stops worrying. What's crazy is I didn't authorize any of it. I couldn't have. If you're laid wide awake in bed at 3 a.m. in the morning, you know precisely how much sleep obeys your free will. This is the closest thing I have to a working model of grace. One can darken the bedroom, put the phone in the kitchen, take magnesium and all of the ashwaghanda gummies, keep the same bedtime for a month, all of that work, and it not necessarily guarantees sleep. In fact, none of it is sleeping. Sleep arrives on its own 3 feet. Yet, sleep itself is not something one bestows on oneself. I'll argue that seeing works the same way. For the sake of this conversation, seeing is what I will call the seeing through suffering and the illusion of separation. You see, suffering isn't noble, and I won't dress it up. If you're like me, you've also spent most of your life dealing with one variant or the other of suffering. For me, the pit of suffering is where most of my seeing has happened, and I think I understand why. When what I consider as my life works according to plan, the mind has enough material to keep building. Everything is a hallelujah. Every song is kumbaya. Grace is the sweetest nectar. Everything holds from the hand of reality, secure in the vice-like grip. But when the plans collapse, my gosh, the mind runs helter-skelter out of scaffolding. Sometimes in it, I catch the sight of the ground it was standing on the whole time. Sometimes. My gosh, it is an existential mess, this being human. I'd love to tell you that I live in absolute bliss. I don't. A client goes quiet on an invoice, or I remember the dates on a pending immigration case, or a conversation with someone I love goes badly and keeps playing at 2 a.m. with better lines I didn't say, and a conditioned mind flutters like a butterfly that found milkweed. 3 weeks of the same worry, wearing the same groove. The clouds come in thick and total, and shutter closes, and there's no seeing at all. Just gruesome, terrible weather. But then, in all of this, I've come to think of the confusion as a privilege. Even that too is grace. On this contemplative path, something in us is stubborn enough to keep asking what all this gooey goo is. The difference between the me of then and now is that I no longer treat the closure or the closing as a failure of technique. It isn't a sign that I did the practice wrong either. It's freaking Tuesday and the world seems to be falling apart, at least from one true viewpoint. Friend, I have read all the good books until the pages came loose. Well, all the popular books, the Spears, John of the Cross, the Desert Fathers, Jean Klein. I have searched until my soul's wore out. I've sat in meditation for hours daily. I can tell you with the weight of confident authority that I have that none of these have any procedure for ending the illusion of separation or that moment of enlightenment where suffering ends forever. What all of the practice does is arrange the room neatly. The studying, the searching, the sitting for hours in meditation, all of it makes the individual more available, just the way a darkened bedroom makes a person more available to sleep. But nothing will happen to wake you up to end suffering for good. Or something may happen, doesn't matter. It has always not been of anyone's doing. It has always only been the hand of grace. And in those clear moments of insight, forgetting will still happen. Look at it. Who is it that forgets? If the seeing belongs to anyone, wouldn't they just keep at it? Wouldn't I just keep it during the useful hours? Nobody sets an alarm to forget their own nature. The forgetting comes by itself as unauthored as the remembering of our true nature. See, what did you eat for dinner 14 nights ago? Ah, you can't remember. Notice the strain, the blank, the two or three candidate meals your mind offers as plausible. Now, notice that if it comes at all, it comes later at the sink with the specific bowl and the specific person across the table. And if you even remember, the remembering was not produced by the straining to remember. The straining was just the noise we made while waiting. I've spent years making that noise. I don't regret it. Whatever is in front of me, I turn attention back along the line to what it's appearing to. Oh, that's where I find unexplainable joy. The screen, the ache in the right shoulder, the sound of the fan, Milo shifting the weight against my right leg, each of these is appearing somewhere, to something, and I look for the somewhere. It isn't a search for an object. There's no image to find and there's no state to install. It's more like noticing the one place attention never has to travel to reach. It takes a very skillful tilt of the neck, metaphorically, to find that sweet spot. I don't see it all the time. It's the center through which everything arises. It was there during the worst week of last month, unmoved and uninterested in my opinion of it. It doesn't require good conditions. It doesn't require me to be calm or kind or clear. It was there while I was arguing, while I stood in shame confessing my closest secrets. It still was there while I was asleep and not present for any of it. It is the ever-present standing through it all. Call it God or the universe or reality or whatever lingo honors the unthinkable, unknowable, untouchable. That objectless object makes no promise that pain will stop. It offers no timelines and doesn't seem interested in explaining itself. But it whispers, and it whispers to me the way it may whisper to you. All may not be well, and you're in it, through it, out of it, for it, as it. We're not rescued from the mess. We're included so completely that there's no seam where one ends and it begins. Grief happens inside it. Confusion happens inside it. The whole ugly stretch we'd erase if we could is happening inside it and has never once been outside it. So back to that bed. I fell asleep and cannot tell you how. Everyone falls asleep and thinks it's their own doing. But when people are up at 3 a.m. staring, it's their fault. It's their failure. But look at it again. Nobody authorizes the 3 a.m. either. The man lying awake rehearses better lines for a conversation that ended 9 hours ago, did not sign up for that shift. It was handed to him. He could not put it down, and he could not have picked it up. Which means grace has both hands in this thing. It opens the shutter, it also closes it. It hands out the clear morning and it hands out the milkweed mind, and it does not beg for your opinion. That is the part I resisted for years. I wanted grace to be the good weather. I wanted the seeing to be the reward and the clouds to be our fault. Because at least a fault can be corrected and a technique can be improved, and I could stay in business as the one running the operation. But if the forgetting is not mine, and the remembering is not mine, and the falling asleep is not mine, then the pit is not mine either. Somebody put me down there, and there was something in me stubborn enough to keep asking what all this gooey goo is. That too was issued, not earned. So grace is not a thing that comes when the suffering ends. Grace is what the suffering is made of. It is the seeing and it is the blindness. It is the voice of my client who goes quiet at the critical moments. It is the immigration date circled and the 2 a.m. replay. It is not around it, not underneath it. It is not waiting for the storm to pass so it can come out and be recognized. It is in it as it. And when I wake, Milo comes and rubs his face under my dangling hand, and I remember where I am. None of that was my doing either. This being alive, I did not create it. Did you? Will you join me in this exploration? Give this 20 minutes. Read a section, put the page down, and stay with it before moving on. Nothing here is meant to be figured out. So what you can do is sit and let whatever is there be there. Feel free to pause at any time. If you're restless, be restless. If you're grieving, grieve. If you're sitting with fear, sit with it. We're not wanting to be a better version. In fact, we'll make this the new home. Bring up something currently painful. Let it be as sharp as it actually is. Now look for the one it's appearing to. For a bit, let's temporarily pause the story about them. Look for the one who is going through it right now. What do you find when you look directly? Take one thing that delights you, something small and recent. Sunlight on the wall, the thought of the laughter of your favorite person, or your first sip of good wine. Ask the same question. Where's the one that this is happening to? Notice whether the answer is in a different location than it was a moment ago. Now find what is already fine. Without improving anything, notice or locate one thing that is unproblematic at this moment. It could be the weight of your hand, the breath doing itself. Notice that contentment isn't manufactured here. See whether it was already running underneath, unattended. Now turn around. Whatever is arising, look back along the line to what it's arising in. Don't try and see something. Just notice the place you never had to travel to reach. Stay there without making it into another experience. I know it's hard. Don't overthink it. Now let the whisper land. Say it slowly and listen for what it refuses. All may not be well, and I am in it, through it, out of it, for it, as it. Notice which part of you argues. Don't argue back. Just listen. And now you're going to close by forgetting. So get up and do the next ordinary thing. The shutter will close. That closing is not yours either.